Hey you guys, it is Siobhan from A Single Woman's Chronicles, and I am in Richmond today. You see my VCU lanyard. I just completed day one of orientation for my daughter and just left her there for the night, and I am actually staying with my best friend, and she's not home from work yet, so I'm kind of in the car waiting for her with the air on because it's not real hot, but it's 84 degrees out here, and just sitting in the car, you know, it's like difficult to handle that heat in the car, this heat in the car. But anyway, you know, this is my first broadcast, kind of excited. Haven't done anything like this in a while, as far as talking to people on video. I used to do it on YouTube often. I felt like it was in vain. I didn't have a lot of followers, but whatever. It's therapy for me. I just have fun doing it regardless of who watches. Like, I have 0 people right now, but it's okay. You know, it's okay. So I did want to come real quick and talk about, just in case someone listens to the broadcast later, I wanted to come and talk to you about my recent experience with married men. So I'm single. I've been single for a while. I would say since 2007, but I've had some situationships, you know, over those years. I really wouldn't deem any of them as real relationships because, yeah, they just weren't. But anyway, so, but over the last year, you know, I have dated, you know, some men, and some that I had known for a while. One in particular actually lives in Richmond. You know, he had been engaged from what I could recall, and I guess they broke it off or whatever, or at least he told me they broke it off. And you know, we started kind of talking to each other and seeing each other sporadically, not often, but you know, every now and then, because where I live in Virginia is about 1 hour and 45 minutes away from Richmond. So, you know, we couldn't see each other every day, but we talked and everything. And, you know, come to find out, like, eventually my spidey senses, or that women's intuition, kicked in, and I kind of felt uneasy about that relationship and cut it off. I felt like he was using me for some other things, not sex, but emotional support, money, and just some other things. So I cut it off. And recently we reconnected just on social media, on Facebook. We don't talk or speak or whatever. I think the last time I talked to him, I texted him and asked him for a job reference because we worked together previously. But I recently, you know, reconnected with him on Facebook, and I noticed that, you know, he got married to the girl he was engaged to, and she's pregnant. It's just so very interesting. So it just leads me to believe that, you know, that situation really never ended, and being that we were kind of away from each other, you know, he just kind of kept it hidden from me. And I don't understand why men, or people in general, I can only speak from my perspective as a woman, so I'm going to say men. I don't understand why men do that. They don't tell the whole truth. For what? I am 39. I just don't have time for, you know, hidden secrets. It's just so frustrating. And the way people are built these days, you know, you fall up on the wrong woman or man and you're telling them lies, or, you know, being deceptive, they could snap for real. And no telling what would happen at that point. You know, I've been to the point where I've been so angry that my thoughts became very negative, and I don't like that, because, you know, had I been a weaker person, I guess you could say, I would have snapped. I would have drove to Richmond and tried to bust his windows out his car, you know. The other situation I wanted to talk about in reference to married men is I had a friend. We're no longer friends as of Saturday, I guess. But someone that I marched in the band at Norfolk State as a hot ice dancer, and he was in the band as well. We didn't really know each other at Norfolk State. I was probably a few years older than he was, so he got in probably my last year in the band. But we connected some years ago, about 10 years ago, through a mutual friend, and we never dated. We went out a couple of times, but we never dated exclusively. We never had any type of intimate moments. No kissing, no intimate hugs, no sex, nothing like that. So it just is what it is. It was what it was, rather, and we were friends. So what we would do recently, we would talk sporadically. Like, we would go months and sometimes years, or a year or so, without talking, and then one day one of us will contact the other person and just talk about whatever's going on in our lives, work, relationships, whatever, you know. So this last spurt had been probably a couple of months, and we would talk to each other during the work day. I'm trying to keep the sun in, but it's kind of going down. But anyway, we would talk during the work day, and it was just very innocent. Talk about work, talk about, you know, he was trying to find me a boo, trying to hook me up with some of his colleagues or whatever, you know, that type of stuff. Every now and again, he would try to make some smart comment. And I found out he was married, and he didn't tell me. It's crazy. But when I confronted him about being married, he said that they had only been married a couple of years. He don't know why he didn't tell me, blah, 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 whatever. So after that, of course, it definitely was no intent on me becoming any more than just his friend. So anywho, so lately we had just been talking off and on a lot, and, you know, he was talking about how his wife had moved from had lived in New York, got laid off, and came back to live with him. And he was saying how she needed to find a job, and he thought that she was going through his phone records, so on and so forth, whatever. Man, so Saturday morning about 4:45 a.m., I'm asleep in bed, and my phone rings. The first time it rings, it's a non-published number. The second time, it was his number, and I had asked him for a favor, so I thought he was calling me about that. But it turns out that it was her. It was his wife. She had went through his phone records. She saw that he was calling me often. She saw he called me one night at midnight. I don't know why he did that, because he never called me after work hours. Anyway, you could hear the hurt, the frustration, the sadness, the anger. I could hear all that in her voice in a matter of a 1-minute conversation. She was angry. Apparently, he had been doing this with other women for a long time, or she had other occurrences of him cheating on her, having sex with other women, and so on and so forth. And she bundled me up in that group. You know, at that moment, number one, I was half asleep, so, you know, I really didn't respond like a normal person, I guess you could say, would respond. But anyway, when I did respond, I was just like, you know, I'm not sleeping with him, we're just friends. Then she proceeds to ask me a whole bunch of questions, which I didn't take the time to answer. I pretty much told her we didn't sleep together, and I hung up. So, man, I get a text from him saying, you know, he apologized. He said, you know, he hadn't been right in his marriage, blah, 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 and he had to conclude our friendship, which was fine. I was okay with that. Hey, I would never break up anybody's marriage, especially if they're deciding that they're going to stay together. But it tugged on me. It tugged on me all weekend long. And so Monday I emailed him and I told him that, you know, I was disappointed. As his friend, I was disappointed in him because, number one, he did not give me all the information. She also indicated when she called me that she was pregnant. that hurt me to my heart, because he didn't tell me that, you know. And I respected his marriage, and I just wish he would have told her that I was his friend, and that we had been just the situation, and she would have been a little more comfortable with me, and not saying that I was, for lack of a better term, having sex with him, you know. But that's not what she said. So I emailed him, and I was just like, I'm disappointed. I told him that, you know, if he's choosing to be married, then he needs to respect his marriage and his wife. And that if he's going to continue to stay in the marriage, that he just needed to change some things. Man, he forwarded that email to her. Because I wasn't going to respond. But anyway, she responded back to me. But she apologized, and I could appreciate that. You know, I appreciated that she apologized, because she bundled me up with all his other situations. And by me doing what I did, you know, it validated that we were just friends. And that kind of made me happy, you know. But anyway, as a single person, like, I just feel like a single woman, like, you can't you cannot have friendships like that with married men, because you just never know what the other person is thinking. You don't know their situation. You don't know the history. And she was right. He was telling her one thing and telling me a whole nother story. And I'm sure so it could benefit him. So I could possibly find myself in a situation with him that's inappropriate. Honey, I'm done with married folk. I cannot do it anymore. But I just wanted to, you know, come on, do my first broadcast, talk about that situation. It's been harping on me for a couple of days, because I feel like as a single person, I don't know why, but I attract those type of men who are not, who are in situations, who are not committed to their significant other, whether married or just in a relationship. So I feel like it's something in me that needs to change, probably, that's giving off that vibe of, you know, maybe non-commitment or whatever. So I'm taking some time now to really evaluate who I am and what I desire from dating other men, and what I can do differently to attract a different type of man. So that's all. My friend just pulled up, and you know, I hope you guys are having a great day, whoever views this broadcast. Hopefully you give me some hearts if you view it later. Talk to y'all later. Bye.